So we're doing something a little bit different today. We're doing three versions. I've already done a relatively straight version, I guess you'd call it, um, on Tom Youngjohn 3. Now this is going to be kind of a comedic version on Not Joe Christian, and we're just going to see what YouTube says about that. How many views these different versions get. And the reason I'm actually risking it on Tom Youngjohn 3 is because it doesn't talk about the selection process, and it doesn't talk about it doesn't talk about that thing that you can catch or ways to prevent it. So because it doesn't talk about either of those two, I'm assuming that it's safe. I already made the assumption. I've already put it up over at Tom Youngjohn 3, so we're going to find out. It didn't get deleted automatically, at least. So anyway, to the title, military arrests former President George W. Bush. I should check. I'm sorry. I should do a mic check. Make sure that is my mic working? Mic? Yeah. I see a green light. Testing. Okay. I guess. Sorry. Yell at you guys. U.S. Special Forces arrested former President George. Oh, did I read that? Military arrests former President George W. Bush by Michael Baxter over at RealRawNews.com, November 15th, 2021. U.S. Special Forces arrested former President George W. Bush Saturday morning at his Crawford, Texas ranch, following a blistering firefight with Secret Service agents and private security contractors assigned to protect him. On Friday evening, a Special Forces Alpha Detachment stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, received from U.S. Army Special Operations Command orders to infiltrate the ranch and arrest the 43rd president. Special Forces were told to expect resistance because recent intelligence on the ranch showed that Bush had surrounded himself with armed private security contractors in addition to the trio of Secret Service agents that routinely patrolled the grounds. Transportation to the ranch was provided by the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, nicknamed Night Stalkers, a group of highly skilled chopper pilots that conduct transport, attack, assault, and reconnaissance missions at night, at low altitude, and on short notice. The choppers had to make 3 refueling stops to reach their destination. Under cover of darkness, early Saturday morning, the choppers descended into a clearing near the southeast corner of Bush's 1,600-acre ranch, far from the staff trailers and the main house where they hoped to find Bush sleeping. After offloading the Special Forces, the choppers ascended into the night to await a call for exfiltration. Military source familiar with the mission told Real Raw News that Special Operations Command had obtained detailed satellite imagery of the property as well as locations of trail cams that live streamed to a communications bunker 100 yards from the main building. Intelligence estimated that Bush had 20 security contractors and 3 Secret Service on the property. The plan was to exploit blind spots in the surveillance cameras, ingress to the main building, subdue Bush's personal guards, and drag him to the exfiltration point without alerting the larger security force. But something went horribly wrong, our source said. Special Forces had approached to within 200 yards of the main house when all hell broke loose. 2 open-top, all-terrain vehicles, each with a driver and 3 security personnel, sped out of the darkness and toward the encroaching Special Forces unit, the headlights momentarily illuminating the soldiers as they separated into groups and dove for cover. Bush's security unleashed unleashed a hailstorm of suppressive fire, wounding one soldier and killing another. While one special forces group engaged the enemy, the other dashed toward the main house, hoping to capture Bush before he could be evacuated on his own private helicopter, which sat parked near the main structure. The battle turned quickly into our favor. Special forces took cover behind a rock wall and, with the aid of night vision goggles, shot out the tires on both vehicles, then killed or grievously wounded Bush's security. But they knew that there was still at least a dozen patrolling the property, and they would have been alerted on their way. Time was of the essence. Our source said the second Special Forces unit reached the main house just as two Secret Service agents emerged and began steering Bush, still in his pajamas, to an armored limousine parked alongside dense shrubbery. Special Forces instructed them to halt and throw up their hands, but the agents wheeled around and drew weapons, only to be killed a second later. Somewhere on the property, a deafening klaxon blared like an air raid siren. They gagged and bagged Bush, then regrouped. They couldn't make the exfiltration point, not with one killed in action and a teammate with a sucking chest wound. They radioed for pickup where they stood. A pilot told them that enemy forces were mobilizing near the staff trailers and that they only had minutes to get out of there. The birds weren't armed for combat, otherwise they could have hosed down those trailers. Our source said the choppers touched down only long enough to retrieve Special Forces and their package, avoiding further conflict. Our source said that JAG and the Office of Military Commissions had long sought Bush's arrest. He did not say why it waited so long or why it felt such an impetus to grab Bush Saturday morning. Bush, he said, has been charged with treason and is being held to account for the deaths of thousands of soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan and for his role in masterminding 9/11, in addition to other crimes. He will face a military tribunal, our source said. So remember to be good and, remember to love God and to try to be good.